Good day to you, Mark Soto of HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane HD video blog for Saturday, the 1st of September 2012. Here's a look at climatology, the last 100 years, points of origin where tropical storms and hurricanes got their beginnings, and you can tell that the area between Africa and the Lesser Antilles here, quite the hotbed of activity, climatologically speaking. Caribbean Sea remains pretty much void of any significant clustering of development. Usually this region is just too inhospitable as storms or tropical waves go between South America and the Greater Antilles. It's just one of those geographic anomalies over time, unless it's already developed and plows through like Ivan did in 2004. You usually don't see development in the Caribbean Sea. Southwest Atlantic busy in September, as you can well imagine, as is the Gulf and the Eastern Pacific, especially right there, not too far off of Mexico. So this is how things should look over the next 10 days in terms of the percentage, the odds that something will happen. And since we're on September 1st, here we go. We do have something. And Leslie developed right out here in the deep tropics. And struggling today, though. Low-level center right in here. Northerly shear coming down and pushing that convective cloud mass to the south. It's not able to wrap around the center and close off a tight core. Remember all that with Isaac. And if it can't do that, it can't ramp up. But it is, like Isaac, a large envelope of energy. So once it does consolidate, which it'll probably do up here, out of the deep tropics once again, there's just this dry air down here that's keeping a lid on the convective development of these storms this year. And so they're having to wait until they get out of the tropics to develop. A pretty rare phenomenon. Folks in Bermuda may want to keep an eye, as you should. There's Bermuda there, on what happens with Leslie as it turns. The official forecast turns it away from, and you can extrapolate out here, presumably, from Bermuda. We'll see. I'm going to show you the GFS in just a moment. And, of course, we have Kirk out here racing off to the northeast, and it won't bother any land masses. Looking at the GFS, this is the 5-day forecast, 120 hours from this morning. So this is out on Thursday morning. There's Bermuda right there. And here is Leslie. And there's just not enough ridge sitting here. This is a little bit, but really it's just a weak pattern. So this is going to turn north, kind of slow, and eventually get kicked out. It looks like there'll be enough energy upstream to come in and hammer away and keep hammering away on the ridge. If we saw a pattern where we had a large ridge building out over the Atlantic like this, then it could steer Leslie back to the west, and then it would turn and come up the coast as a trough comes in. But it doesn't look like that's going to be there. So no worries up in New England or the Canadian Maritimes. I don't think that this is going to be a problem for you. Day 6 shows it still sitting to the southeast of Bermuda, which is right there. And kind of a flat pattern in the eastern United States, but there's not enough big ridge to come up over the top and push Leslie back to the west. It's just not there. Instead, you have a weak steering pattern as Day 7, still sitting there to the southeast of Bermuda. Hopefully, this will generate enough waves if it gets strong enough and give the surfers along the east coast something to do. That would be nice, as long as it stays away from Bermuda, right? And Africa, that is the source of a lot of energy and low-pressure systems. These tropical waves come off, and they start moving west across the open water eventually. And we'll have some more candidates for development later on as we move through September. Probably going to have a little bit of a lull after Leslie. Every year we have that, ups and downs of these bursts of development. And on Monday, I'm going to talk a lot more about the El Nino situation. I got some really interesting news to share, and as well as sea surface temperature anomalies, and what September may in fact look like. It could be pretty busy once we get through this kind of quiet period, as Leslie clears the pattern. We'll talk about that more on Monday. I'll be back again tomorrow, though, with another general look at the tropics. Nothing to worry about this Labor Day weekend. Enough problems going on post-Isaac still, people dealing with that. Let's not forget that. We do have a lot of people still having to deal with the aftermath of Isaac. For them, it's still going on. I am Mark Sudduth, my website, HurricaneTrack.com. Of course, always glad to participate to provide these videos for Hurricane and Hurricane HD, and I'll see you again tomorrow.